I am so excited to have Dr. Dianne Fillman here with me. I met Dr. Fillman last night at the exhibit hall and I heard that she had some really awesome stories. And in talking to her again today, she absolutely does. She has some amazing stories and she's going to tell you one right now. Dr. Fillman.
Thank you, Kristen. Yes, the story that we were talking about is one that happened to me about, I don't know, about 2 years ago. I was going to Guatemala for a mission trip with Southern Adventist University and Light Hour. And I've always had this idea, like I'm sure a lot of people do, that mission begins when you get there. Okay, so I was in Oklahoma for a family reunion. I was exhausted. My flight left Tulsa at like 5 o'clock in the morning. And so I had to leave Tulsa, or actually the outlying area, at like midnight. And so I got into Tulsa to get ready to go. And it's sitting there and I'm thinking, man, I'm so tired. I was praying that God would not put somebody next to me who liked to talk. And I know, Kristen, that, you think, well, a lot of people say, okay, I'm going to go on a trip. I pray that God will put somebody in my path, somebody that I can connect with. But that wasn't my prayer that day. I was just too tired. And so I thought, this will give me a chance to rest, because I knew when we got there, it was going to be hit the ground and run. And I knew that I was going to be really tired, and I already was. So I got on the plane and I went to my seat, and the girl sitting next to me already had her pillow out. She was already laying down by the window and she was asleep. And I'm thinking, oh, thank you, God, that's perfect. And so I sat down and I pulled out my book and I was just kind of reading and relaxing, and the plane took off. And the minute the plane took off, she was awake. And so she started talking to me, and I'm thinking, oh no. And so I'm trying to make some little chit chat with her, but almost like pushing her away. And so she started talking to me about this book that she was reading, and she was really excited about it. You know, the way we should be excited about things that we're reading. Okay, so she was really excited about it, and she said that she had been reading it, and it was this non-denominational book, and that some people she had given it to just didn't agree with it, and she wanted me to read it, or at least look at it. And so I said, okay. So she handed it to me, and the title on the book was The Truth About the Rapture. And I'm saying, no, please God, 5 o'clock in the morning, I really don't want to get into this subject, And it's not one, I know about the rapture and I know what we believe, but it's not one that I feel like I could just really discuss, especially at 5 o'clock in the morning. And so I took the book and I started looking through the front of it. And as I started looking into it, it was like, wow, this guy's really saying stuff that I believe, stuff that I know is true. And so I read a little further, and then I said to her, I said, I haven't read the whole book, obviously. I said, but from what I'm reading right now, it looks to me like this guy's really on track. Like this guy really is biblical. And so that got us started talking. And it was really interesting because over the next 2 hours of that flight, the subject went from one to another, and before we were through, I think we had hit every single one of the Adventist doctrines.
Wow.
And, it was like one subject would just lead to the next question that she would have. And finally, at one point, she asked me, what church do you go to, or what church do you belong to? And I told her, I said, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. And she said, oh, wow, that's really cool. She said, I drive by a Seventh-day Adventist church on my way to work every morning. And I said, well, that's really neat. I said, how about some Saturday morning when you're not like super busy, why don't you just stop in there and kind of check it out? And she said, oh yeah, that's right. You guys worship on Saturday, not on Sunday. That got us off on a whole new topic. And so by the time we touched down, and she was actually going to be with a sister who was ill. So we talked a little bit about that, and so the plane was landing, and I had the opportunity to pray with her.
Wow.
And when I got off that plane, it was like I didn't have to be there for my mission trip. Okay, I had already accomplished what God had set out for me to do on that trip. And yes, I did accomplish a lot of things on the trip, but I just feel like sometimes we miss the opportunity to do mission where we are, simply because we're so focused on where we're going.
That's such a powerful story, and especially we get into these moments of stubbornness, if I can use that word.
It's good.
And it's like, no, I don't want a divine appointment. I want to I want to just rest. And God says, nope, I actually have another plan for you. And I think it's such a testimony to how God uses broken people to accomplish his work.
So.
So thank you so much for sharing, and I really appreciate it. And it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.